Church. I am new to the Salem Fire Foundation board, and I suppose I was asked for several different reasons, but I said yes only because of one. Once upon a time, I put an AED on my father, and that's the reason that I'm sitting at the table, and I imagine that all of you are sitting at the table for a particular reason as well. And so thank you for whatever reason brought you here, and thank you for acknowledging that as a community, we can do so much more together. So if you would join with me in a moment of gratitude, and if you are inclined, please pray. Gracious God, we give you thanks for all of the reasons that brought us to this place. And Lord, for whatever it was, remind us the most important thing we can do is join together as one community to serve you in all that we do and to serve our neighbors. So Lord, bless the food that has been prepared for us and bless the hands that served it to us. May it nourish our bodies so that we can serve you and be a stronger community together. In your gracious name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Jody. And thank you all for attending the first Salem Fire Fighters Breakfast, which supports the Salem Fire Foundation. Our mission in the organization is to provide CPR and AED training to every 8th grader in the Salem-Keizer School District, and bring extra budgetary specialized equipment to the Salem Fire Department. I'd like to take a moment and recognize our major sponsor, Dan Summers of Advantage Heating and Cooling. Dan, would you come up and just say a couple words? Advantage Heating's been very generous to us.
I was in a near fatal accident, and if it wouldn't have been for the first responders, I wouldn't be here. I'd be, well, somewhere else, and my kids would not have a dad anymore. So it's really, really near and dear to my heart, and that's the heart of Advantage Heating and Air Conditioning. The whole family, we call it a family, the Advantage family, and the heart really is to give. We give to a lot of different organizations, and we're really fortunate this year to be able to partner with the manufacturer to come together and really give what I thought was a pretty large sum, but that wasn't on us. That was due to the community. The community rallied behind us, and the Advantage Heating team rallied behind us, and again, the manufacturer. We just mentioned it in passing, and they said, "Hey, we can get behind this," and so they matched everything that we gave. But again, heart of Advantage Heating is this. This is so awesome to be able to be here. Just wanted to say, everybody has a little card here. It's for a free tune-up for anybody that's here. All you need to do is call into the office and say, "I'd like a free tune-up," and on your heating system, not on your car. And I've had people ask me, "So are you going to tune up on our car?" No, we don't do that. Just on your heating system. And we had an event that was really cool. Can I have another second? Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm done. No, we had an event that was really awesome, and they brought the big truck, and they put me up on a 100-foot ladder, and I don't know if you guys have ever been up on a 100-foot ladder, but it's a little shaky up there. Thank goodness there wasn't a lot of wind, and it was really cool because they let me come down. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you guys. We appreciate first responders, and I appreciate all the support that everybody's giving towards Salem Keizer. These guys jump out at a moment's notice and come to help out anybody. And they don't know if they're going to run into a burning building. They don't know if they're going to see a bad accident. They don't know what they're going to see, but they're there, and I really appreciate that.
I'd also like to thank our assistant chief sponsors, which you'll see rolling by, but Salem Health, cable, somewhere close to me. And of course, this room, Ross Fresh Markets, Tim Jennings, for this great space and a tasty breakfast, which I'll get to soon, and Caldwell Banker. I'd like to run through the battalion chief sponsors, if you'll hold your applause to the end. The Legacy Group, Douglas Conroy, Gibb, and Pacheco, Rich Duncan Construction, Montgomery Construction Group, Garmin AT, Gaddy Law, Zoll, Salem Clinic, Salem Electric, Doctors Kirk and Terry Walker, Caldwell Banker Mountain West, Harness Media, and Spire Management LLC. Thank you, all of our sponsors. If any public officials are here, would you please stand and be recognized? Come on, don't be shy. That's not your job. It is my honor at this moment to introduce Chuck Minute, who's been serving as our mayor of Salem since 2017, and it is his second term. He spent 9 years on city council, has been an Oregon State representative, served as a governmental affairs representative, newspaper reporter and editor. Mayor Bennett has been a great advocate for safety of our citizens in this community and a supporter of the Salem Fire Department, first responders that serve the city. Please help me welcome Mayor Chuck Bennett.
Well, good morning. Pastor Jody, I really want to thank you for the prayer of gratitude. I think it's a great way. I try to start my day with that. This is a particularly good day for a prayer of gratitude, for just general gratitude. I'm sure we're all pleased to be spending our morning in the United States of America, in Salem, Oregon, eating what I got to tell you, because I do a lot of these breakfasts. It's got to be one of the best breakfasts I've had at one of these events in a long time, from Ross. Listening to Dan Summers, who's been a really tremendous advocate for our first responders and has stepped up. This is the second event I've been with Dan now, gosh, in the past month or so. And of course, Salem Health, the place that I go every time I seem to have a blocked something. So I really am grateful. And Pastor Jody, thank you for taking us there this morning. I'm really honored to have been asked to be here this morning, and I can tell you right now, this is clearly going to become a great tradition. This is the right time of year. The particular donut flavors are especially good. I see the chief of police here, so I know I'm in the deputy chief. I'm in the right place at the right time. And thank goodness we're surrounded by so many outstanding first responders. This is the morning of the Great Oregon Shakeout. So if you haven't done a duck and cover in a while, today's the day. Today's the day. We all know that in a major event such as an earthquake, our fire and police departments will be stretched to their limits. We've done work done by the Salem Fire Foundation helps our firefighters with additional tools they're going to need to be both efficient and responsive to us when that day comes, hopefully not in our lifetimes. Just to give you a few statistics, in 2018, Salem Fire received an average of 70 calls a day, with almost 19,000 dispatches for medical service. And then this always catches, and I don't mean only because I know how important it is, but only 550 for fires. This is a medical unit, EMTs. These are the people who arrive when your life is in danger. So the work that you'll hear about and the program being talked about this morning that you're helping to fund is just essential in this community. Today, the foundation is focusing on equipping each fire engine with one auto pulse unit, along with bands and airway devices that are needed to augment it. These are for people experiencing cardiac arrest, and they will save lives. That's what I think is so important and so stunning about the importance of our fire department is every time they go out, they are in line to save my life, your parents, grandparents, your kids' lives. Related to this very important issue is the extremely successful Community Fire Department Initiative. Its CPR AED training program, which is just entering its 6th year, has so far trained more than 15,000 eighth graders, thank goodness. And after 6 years, geez, they're finally getting out of high school, maybe out of the basement. Thus far, more than 15,000 eighth graders, along with their parents and their siblings, have received this life-saving training program from the Salem Fire Department. I had the opportunity to go over to West Salem High School and watch this program in action. It really is, I think, just an essential and important part of the curriculum that our public schools are offering these young people. So again, thank you for inviting me this morning. I have the opportunity to introduce the Fire Chief, one of my good friends and fellow Spokaneanites from over at City Hall. So let me see where I am here. Chief Niblock has more than 35 years of experience in fire service. During that time, he had increasing levels of authority and responsibility as a firefighter, an EMT, medical officer, lieutenant, ladder captain, battalion chief, and he joined the Salem Fire as deputy chief in 2004, where he headed the operations division until being appointed interim chief in June of 2009. On April 5th, 2010, he was appointed as the 45th Fire Chief of Salem Fire Department. He's originally from Spokane. Mike is an avid Gonzaga Bulldogs fan. That's okay. And he also roots for the Oregon Ducks. Unless, of course, they are playing the Zags. Mike lives in West Salem with his wife of 32 years, Lisa. So please join me in greeting Fire Chief Mike Niblock.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you again, Mayor Bennett, for your support and your kind words. I'm Fire Chief Mike Niblock, and thank you all for spending some time with us this morning. I want to acknowledge our firefighters that are here this morning and thank them for their service. These men and women are truly dedicated professionals in our community, and they keep you safe each and every day. Please take the opportunity, if you haven't already, to talk with them, and I know you will see that they are passionate about serving the community and taking care of you. This morning, as I arrived, I had the honor of personally greeting some of you, and it impressed me that we had a large diversity of state and local officials, elected officials here with us today. I want to make sure you know that we appreciate everything you do for the citizens. And our state treasurer, Tobias Reed, is also with us today. Thank you for taking the time to be here. We appreciate that. We're going to start this morning with a quick video clip about the Salem Fire Foundation.
Life is made of moments, each one a precious opportunity. Yet every year, roughly 70 people in Salem miss these moments due to sudden cardiac arrest. These are people's mothers, fathers, grandparents, and sons and daughters. Don't miss out on life's moments.
In the United States, over 1,000 people per day die from sudden cardiac arrest. If a family member or coworker experiences a sudden cardiac arrest in your presence, their survival may depend upon the actions you take next. When seconds count, are you prepared to respond? Performing CPR and applying a shock with an automatic external defibrillator can triple the chances for survival from a sudden cardiac arrest. The Salem Fire Foundation, in conjunction with the Salem Fire Department, is providing CPR and AED training to every 8th grade student in the Salem community. To learn more about CPR and AED training opportunities, or how you can help, please visit our website at salemfirefoundation.org. Whose life will you save today?
That's a powerful video. And just as a side note, a little Thanksgiving scene took 4 hours to film. 15 seconds of video, 4 hours to film it. Allied Video did a great job putting that together for us. With No Motors helped us with sponsorship of that video, and this is really, we've used it a few times before. This is really our first big occasion where we've had a large audience to play that video. But it gets the message out there, and I think everybody can relate to the stories that you see in the videography there in that video. Over the last 5 years, our foundation board has worked tirelessly to improve our community's sudden cardiac arrest rate. The foundation has 3 main focus areas. The first area is to increase the number of publicly available automatic external defibrillators, or AEDs, in our community. We've had some excellent partners in this endeavor. Bill Gardner from Pacific Stair, Salem Health Foundation, Gallagher's Fitness, and the City of Salem Fire Department and Public Works Departments have all donated significant amounts of money to facilitate the community AED program. We have placed AEDs in all Salem and Kaiser police vehicles, all City of Salem Public Works vehicles, and 150 public access AEDs located throughout the community. By next July, with funding from Salem Health, we will be completing the installation of an additional 66 public access AEDs, bringing our total in our community to 550 AEDs. It's critically important to have ready access to an AED during a sudden cardiac arrest, as it triples your chance for survival. The second focus area is to teach CPR and AED usage skills to all of our 8th grade students in the community. Again, we've had outstanding partners in the Salem Kaiser School District. We are so blessed to have a superintendent like Christy Perry and a middle school director like Matt Biondi, who were instrumental in helping the Fire Foundation get into the schools to be able to teach the kids this important life-saving skill. Thank you, Christy and Matt. We've trained over 15,000 kids since the inception of the program, and have started our 6th year of instruction this month, which, by the way, happens to be National Sudden Cardiac Awareness Month, if you didn't know that, October. Our lead instructor, Willie Giddings, is here with us today, this morning, and this program would not have been successful without the contributions of these 3 individuals. So when you get the chance, please thank Christy, Matt, and Willie. And Willie, where are you at? Throw your hand up, there's Willie. So why is this important? We know that early intervention with CPR increases your survival chances following a sudden cardiac arrest. But why 8th graders? Because 80% of our sudden cardiac arrest events in Salem occur in the home. And I guarantee you, if you have a cardiac arrest in front of one of our trained 8th graders, they're ready to do CPR. The third and final focus area is citizen superheroes. We have a free smartphone app called PulsePoint that allows greater community engagement. This app is available for iOS and Android phones and will alert you of a CPR event near your phone within a quarter-mile radius of where your location is. It tracks all Salem fire calls and rebroadcasts the radio traffic, if you so desire to listen to that. It locates AEDs near your location. This is important because this app has been credited with saving 2 lives in Salem already, allowing a citizen who is close to the CPR call the opportunity to perform CPR and shock with an AED prior to the arrival of the emergency responders, giving us a more viable patient and increasing the odds of survival. So that's what we've accomplished in the last 5 years. It's gone by very fast. I'm often asked, what's next, Chief? Where do we go from here? Before I tell you where we're going to go from here, I want to share a few statistics with you. The national save rate for a witnessed cardiac arrest when CPR is provided and the patient has a shockable rhythm and leaves the hospital with no neurological deficit back to their family is 33.9%. Our save rate under the same criteria in Salem for 2019 to date is 46.1. Now that's significantly higher than the national average, but I know we can do better than that. I want Salem to have the highest cardiac arrest save rate in the nation. And to that end, I'm excited to announce that next year we will be bringing some new technology to our community that will do just that. We will be deploying the auto pulse unit and the rescue pod airway device to all of our fire engines and ladder trucks. These technologies have shown to raise save rates in other communities. We will be the first in Oregon to adopt this model for sudden cardiac arrest. Let's watch a short video to learn more about this exciting technology.
You see the crew come up to the patient, establish the patient is unconscious, no pulse. They will immediately begin chest compressions. You see them in the process of deploying the auto pulse with the quick case. They'll make sure that everything's prepared appropriately with the auto pulse, that the auto pulse is on, that the auto pulse band is open, the quick carry case is in the proper position. Prepare the pads, the defibrillation pads, so that this happens, the time off the chest is very short. They will then sit the patient up, stop compressions. We want to limit this time. Slide the auto pulse underneath the patient, lay them back onto the auto pulse. They will put the auto pulse band together, immediately restart the auto pulse so the time off the chest is as little as possible. Then they will place the straps to appropriately hold the patient in place on the auto pulse, and then deploy the quick case so that they can move the patient quickly onto a gurney. Because nothing trumps compressions, nothing. We set our auto pulses up so that they do continuous compressions regardless of the airway that we're utilizing. We place a patient on a gurney right after we place them on the auto pulse, and we use a gurney as a tool for intubation. Much like they do in an OR or in an ED, we'll place a patient on the nasal cannula at 15 liters, and when our medics are intubating, they have all the time in the world to intubate. We keep an eye on their saturation, and we keep an eye on their end-tidal CO2, and they're getting plenty of oxygen, and they're blowing off enough CO2 that they can take as long as they want to intubate, as long as those numbers stay good. Once we get the tube in the proper spot, the rescue pod goes on, and then the end-tidal CO2 sensor. We do it in that way on purpose to keep some of the debris out of the end-tidal CO2 sensor. The rescue pod helps us with blood flow, so getting blood down into the heart and out of the brain and blood into the brain. It increases perfusion. It's a blood in, blood out process. And so the rescue pod helps us with that. And then we base all of our treatments off the end-tidal CO2. You'll notice that initially or immediately after we've intubated our patient and placed them on the end-tidal CO2 in the rescue pod, we'll sit them up. So we base our defibrillation choice on where the patient is with their capnography. We use capnography to basically measure where we are with pH, and we have to get the pH and the saturation of the heart and the blood straightened around before the heart's ready for defibrillation. So as you can see, if the patient has a good end-tidal CO2 of over 20, then we will choose to defibrillate coarse VFib. We don't defibrillate fine VFib, but we defibrillate coarse VFib. If the end-tidal CO2 is below 20, then we'll withhold defibrillation until we get the patient and their pH and their end-tidal CO up to a level where we can appropriately defibrillate and successfully defibrillate.
1% save rate. That's a lot higher than 46, but we can do better than that too. So that's where we're headed. There's a lot of technology, you can see from that video, that our crews use in the field. They're experts in the field with this 12 lead and all the capnography that they do. The auto pulse is another tool to help us treat the patients better and raise our save rates. I want you to know, since 2013, in the Salem area, 123 people have been successfully resuscitated following a sudden cardiac arrest event. And that means they had no neurological deficit, and they went home to their families and their friends, back to their churches, back to their businesses. They lived their life. They have more birthdays, they have more Christmases. And as fire chief, I have opportunity to talk with some of these folks after an event. And there are not words to describe how powerful it is to have a new lease on life, to have another chance. A sudden cardiac arrest, 1,000 a day in the United States, is an electrical problem with your heart. It's not a plumbing problem. So you hear about people having a heart attack because they have some arteries plugged or clogged, and they get a stent put in. A sudden cardiac arrest is an electrical problem with the heart. And that's why a shock from an AED is so critically important in that first few minutes and immediate CPR. This year in the community, we're seeing about 50% of the time when we show up, somebody's doing CPR. That's great, because that means they're getting perfused before we get there. That's a more viable patient. We'd like to see that number go up. That's why we're teaching CPR in the schools. We'd like to see more people use it. About 18% of the time, with our arrests, we see somebody using a publicly accessible AED. You'd like to see that number go up. That's why we're putting more AEDs in the community, and that's why if you have the Pulse Point app on your phone, that's something everybody, by show of hands, who has Pulse Point app on their phone here? Okay, that's a pretty good number. I'd like to see everybody raise their hand because it's a free app, and anybody can do CPR. And if it was your loved one and somebody was right next door, wouldn't you want them to come do CPR and have your loved one have a higher chance for survival? A lot of good success stories in the community, but this really is about community. The fire department can do so many things. It takes us time to get there, and so if we get a community effort, and that's why we're out in the schools, that's why we're out putting AEDs in the community. We want the community, the citizen superheroes in the community, to be engaged with us and to help us save lives in the community. That's our key mission for the department. Fire department is to save lives. That's our number one thing. And if we can engage the community members to be part of that, and if an 8th grader can do it, you all can do it. It's easy, hands-only CPR. So I'd encourage you to get a CPR class. We do have 66 more AEDs to put into the community, so if you have a business, hold the foundation and request one, and we will look at the map, and we're trying to put these to cover the gaps in the community so we have them in the right places. If you're in one of those gaps, we'll come put an AED in your business for free, and we'll train your employees how to do CPR, and we'll train them how to use the AED. It's pretty simple. So really what it comes down to for us is we want to have a neurologically intact survival following a sudden cardiac arrest event, and the number doesn't really mean anything. What really means something is we have more people that are walking around after an event like that. I don't care if we're 71 or 81 or 91 or we're the highest. It's about, that means we're going to save more lives. So that's really what this is about. Sending people back home to their families.